President Donald Trump sent a chill through elections offices nationwide with his seizure of Fulton County's ballots from the 2020 election. It's one of several signals Trump has given in the last few weeks that he plans to play a more aggressive and maybe even unconstitutional role in our elections. Here in Maricopa County, the year-long war between the elected officials who run our elections has escalated. The battle taking place in the courts right now with just 4 months to go before early ballots go to voters. What is the greater threat to the 2026 vote? President Trump or the feud between the Maricopa County Board and Maricopa County Recorder Justin Heap? Joining us are Don Penich, Democratic consultant at Agave Strategy, and Chuck Coughlin, CEO and president of High Ground Consulting and a registered independent. Welcome back to Square Off.
Thank you.
Good to see you. First, I want to get your take on the Gina Swoboda interview. You've been in this business longer than I have, Chuck. I don't recall ever seeing a candidate trying to switch horses like this in the middle of the race.
Yeah, she's in an extremely difficult spot. I think she felt like she had an endorsement in the congressional race. That was then siphoned off. And now she's looking at this race, and we're going to see her passion, I think, as she was clear to you, is elections. And she has an enormous amount of experience with elections. And so it is the office that I think would be at her heart's content. But again, is she going to have the president's support in a Republican primary, or are her friends, quote unquote, from Turning Point, going to spoil that party too?
Well, she's absolutely right about one thing, which is that current Secretary of State Adrian Fontes slides to victory with his current single challenger. And so you see her in this interview trying to walk that line between what she knows the base wants to hear, what she, as a seasoned elections official, knows about the fact that our elections were fair and free and need to continue being that way. So you see her trying to walk that line. And it will be a very different November depending on what she decides.
All right, on to the mess in Maricopa County. County Board took the unusual step of issuing subpoenas to 3 staffers of Republican County Recorder Justin Heap. They want them to show up and answer questions from the board. A judge quashed the subpoenas, just the latest battle in a long-running court battle, again, over a year now. Chuck, how concerned are you about the county and recorder running a clean, error-free election in the primary and the general?
I mean, the history of this is solid. We've had really good elections in Maricopa County for a long time with Stephen Richer and preceding him with Helen Purcell and others, and Adrian as the county recorder. We have a great history in Maricopa County. I am deeply concerned about the current recorder's inclination, perhaps, to share voter data with the federal government. That's a violation of our 10th Amendment rights. It's a violation of the 10th Amendment to the Constitution. It's a violation of Arizona sovereignty. And I've talked to some people. I'm going to start a recall. I'm going to do a recall campaign of him if he, without a court order, shares any information on our voter rolls with federal officials. That should not be done. It should be sequestered and only be done if there's a court order. And he's on notice. I will recall him. I will spend $100,000 of my own money to start the committee, and I will do it.
In this election, 26?
In this election.
You have enough time to do that?
I have enough time.
Go back to what you said. We've been focused on Adrian Fontes and his battle with the DOJ over the voter rolls. Do you know for a fact that Justin Heap has done anything that might open the door to the DOJ getting Maricopa County's voter roll?
Not yet, but I want to put him on notice. I think it's fair to say we should not be sharing federal voter information. Arizona, it is a federally protected 10th Amendment right for us to run our elections. And anything which you want to share data or federalize elections goes against our rights in the Constitution, and it undermines the sovereignty of the state of Arizona.
All right, line drawn. We'll keep an eye on that. How confident are you about it?
Hey, I will be out there with a clipboard, and so I think there will be no problem in moving this forward because Arizonans don't want our information shared in these ways. This is clear overreach. Everyone feels that way. So a line needs to be drawn, so I applaud you for this.
As far as Maricopa County, the county board, and Recorder Heap finding some kind of accommodation here to work together in some way on this election in the next 4 months, how confident are you they can do that?
I don't have confidence a lot of what the recorder is doing. I have a lot of confidence in our County Board of Supervisors who, like the Secretary of State, have been dogged in their allegiance to the rule of law, to keeping elections fair, transparent, and proper. And that is where my confidence lies.
I mean, you got Debbie Lesko, you have Tom Galvin, you have Kate Brophy-McGee, you have all of them solidly on point of saying we've done this well, we need to continue to do this well, and you have a shaky base that seems to rattle around on going in different directions and sending different messages, and that's not good. I'm hopeful that he can come to his senses and understand that we have a great history of running elections here in Maricopa County, and he can be part of that.
All right, let's move on. Protests over an ICE detention center in Surprise got the attention of far-right Congressman Paul Gosar. You heard me say earlier he sent a letter to DHS Secretary Kristi Noem with a long list of questions.
Long list.
What does that letter tell you? Because Paul Gosar isn't really that kind of guy.
What it says is that even pro-immigration, far-right constituencies aren't liking what they're seeing from the Trump administration, from ICE activities, and this 7 football fields worth of building in Surprise. This is ideologically a step too far, but also in a very mundane way. Residents don't want to see caravans of armed, masked men rolling through their school crosswalk all hours of the day and night. And so just as much as they don't want to see Americans getting killed on a street corner, they don't want to see this kind of actions in our communities.
Getting back to something Gina said, tough year for Republicans. Is this a sign of that one, a Gosar?
Well, I mean, the fundamental problem here is that there was no disclosure on what they were doing. They hid it and then went ahead and do it, which they can do because they have federal authority, which it makes unnecessary local zoning approval. And so it disempowers the local officials, and then they're looking. So, this is a classic example. I've heard our sheriffs say that. I've heard our county board of supervisors say this. I heard our mayors and everybody, just work with us. Just coordinate with us. Just work with us and we'll work with you. But that's not the message that's coming forth from the administration. And like our sheriff said, I run peace officers. I'm here to keep the peace. I want to help keep the peace. That's what our job is. And when they do things like this, that is just completely out of left field, and as was said, you have now a land use adjacent to residential uses, adjacent to shopping uses, adjacent to all these other things, where that's the role of local government, is to determine land use. And they took that away from them. So people are going to be upset about that.
All right, keeping an eye on that too. We're going to have to let our final topic on Republicans investigating Katie Hobbs over her alleged pay-to-play scheme. Set that aside for the moment.
It's not going away.
It's not going away, not at all. Dawn Penich, Chuck Coughlin, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.